Uganda, like many countries in the world, is experiencing increased industrialization, thus the growth in chemical-intensive industrial processes, especially in the oil and gas sector. If not checked, there is a likelihood of a rise in the importation and reformulation of chemicals in the country.
Right now we have a lot of chemicals coming in and they are used in different sectors. Agriculture is one of the biggest users of chemicals. They are used in industries. We also have consumer products that have chemicals. For example, the lotions we use, the toothpaste we use.
Chemicals could have effects such as burns, for instance. When you misuse the chemicals, they could cause diseases like cancer, for instance. And then polluting the environment means that chemicals will affect the ecosystem.
This, coupled with inadequate national capacity to monitor and enforce compliance to sound management of chemicals, the challenge is expected to get bigger.
So once you misuse the chemicals, they might find themselves in the different areas, and at the end of the day, they later come back to you. And consequently, one of the problems we get is health problems arising out of misuse of chemicals.
Scientists in the health and environment sector are calling for establishment of instruments and mechanisms to promote sound management of chemicals throughout their life cycle.
And so we, as a country, we need to regulate the chemicals that are coming in through the borders of the country, and as well as the usage of these chemicals within the country. And we have developed a chemicals database which has not yet been rolled out that will monitor these chemicals. As well as we are in touch with the URA on the issue of the single windows management of these chemicals.
This is hoped to downscale on likely effects that accrue from the use and later disposal of chemicals to both human health and environment. Uganda is a signatory to a cocktail of protocols that strategize for integrated, collaborative, and globally binding actions and commitments to safeguard human health and the environment from the effects of chemical mismanagement. To operationalize the different protocols, government, with support from the United Nations Environment Programme, has launched a project on sound management of chemicals and related waste.
Is to develop guidelines to operationalize the national regulations on consumer and industrial chemicals. The third one is also to develop guidelines for the prior informed consent of procedures under the Basel, Minamata and Rotterdam Conventions.
After putting all the policies and the legal frameworks in place, the next action is to sensitize the users of the chemicals on how to properly use the chemicals.
The project is to be implemented through a multi-stakeholder partnership involving government ministries, departments, agencies and local governments, private sector, and civil society organizations, and academia.